It's time for Comics and Coffee with Cliff, and tonight I have Conor MacGregor, the artist and illustrator, not the other guy. Stay tuned. We'll be back very shortly. Thank you. All right, that was the wrong warning in video, but that's okay.
I was going to say, what did I just walk into? Anyway.
What spoilers are we doing?
Yeah.
In Supergirl Women of Tomorrow, all the animals die. Don't see it. How are you this evening?
I'm doing really well. I just woke up, as I mentioned before, and I got my coffee, and it's starting to kick in. So, I'm doing good.
That's excellent. Dante, welcome. Thank you for joining in.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, no, I meant the chat. I'm sorry. But yes, of course, okay. Conor, thank you for being here. My God.
Yeah.
You know what? Yeah, there's no show without you tonight. No show. So, for those of you who are, for the one or two of you watching live and whoever watches this in the rewind, we met at Ottawa Comic-Con while I was running around with Dagger cards, and Dagger's like, aka David, Dagger's like, oh, this is cool. That's really dope, man. I like your art. I want to get something. And then right there and then, I knew that this guy's art was lovely and I had to have him on, and also that I would become the middleman to hunt Dagger down to make sure that he connected with Conor.
Yeah. He David was really nice enough to grab the first two blank covers that I drew. And I actually was starting to get very attached to them, so it was a little bit hard to let them go, but he liked them. I wanted to sell them anyway. And he later found me after the show on the last day, like 15 minutes after everything closed and people were just kind of shutting down, and he commissioned me to do a Thor piece as well, which was very kind of him.
Very nice.
I just have it finished right there.
Yeah,
David's a nice guy, and thank God you were there, because he left without giving me his information. So, but we have connected. I know I gave him my card, but he didn't get in touch with me for like a day or two. So I was wondering, like, did he forget? Because he did pay me in advance.
I sent him your link, and then I went to him. I was like, dude, he is actively looking for you. And he's like, oh, I didn't realize. And I'm like,
yeah. Well, he did find me. Like I said, he had my business card, which had my website on it. So he did send me a message through there eventually. After which we then connected on Instagram. So it's all good.
It is. I'm very happy. And I'm sure he's happy with his art. I'm very excited about that. Oh, my goodness. So, sir, everybody has their comic book origin story, but yours is different. What inspired you to get into comic book art?
What inspired me to get into comic book art? I guess it all began with the Batman animated series back in 1992. It was the first iteration of Batman that I'd been exposed to, and I was like 2 years old when it started. I don't know why my mom let me watch something, because she was against violence, but she let me watch Batman, which was like one of the most violent superheroes ever. But I started watching that, and then we were always encouraged to do artistic stuff, so that somehow led to drawing. And you draw what you know, and what I knew was Batman, so I started drawing. I kind of fell out of it after a while, but back in like the early 2000s, when Batman Hush came out, I remember my dad bought me, I forget which issue it was, but it was towards the end of the run. He bought me one of the single issues, and I read it, and that was the first time I actually saw Jim Lee's artwork, who is now my favorite artist, and that inspired me to get back into art, seriously. So I'd say Batman the Animated Series, Jim Lee and his work on Hush, and then of course there were several other artists after that. Many years after that, I discovered that continue to inspire me today, like Jason Fabok, and Jorge Jimenez is one of my favorites. He's currently doing Batman. I did Super Sons and Justice League. So, yeah.
Yeah, I love freaking Jorge Jimenez, and I love the Super Sons. Oh, still only 35C. David, welcome. And C-Bizzle rocking monthly memberships for 7 months. Thank you, C-Bizzle. TM Nerdy from Prince Edward Island. Thanks for joining us. John Stout, good evening. So it's fun to have you on Batman Day, and you're a Batman fan.
Yeah, I totally forgot that it was Batman Day today. And so I had to like quickly, like in the middle of the day, okay, make a Batman post, make another Batman post to make sure I got it up there. But yeah, this is kind of cool timing with the Batman Day. I'm a Batman fan, and we're talking to you about what is largely going to be Batman related stuff.
Well, I want to talk about that Batman piece behind you. Is that a cover you did?
Are we talking this right here?
Yes.
Yeah, so that is one of the I'm doing a lot of sketch covers right now. I'm really getting into these. So there's a lot of blank covers that I picked up from comic shops, as well as comic shops who were at Ottawa Comic Con where we met, and this is one of them. So
yeah, hold that Batman up.
Yeah, you know, let me take it out of the packaging so there's no glare.
John Stout says every day is Batman Day for me.
Yeah, so this is the new title, I guess, that they've come up with for a new Batman series.
Is he like walking into a Poison Ivy like thing? Or is
no,
this like
but at first glance I can see why you would think that. So up here, like above him, that's just cracked glass. That's not any leaves or anything. All these draping cables are just that. They're not vines or anything like that.
So he's not on his way to fight Brainiac.
No, he's just standing there in some sort of warehouse where there's technology of random. It's not even supposed to be anything. I was literally just drawing. I wanted to draw Batman, to be honest, and then I wanted a background, and I saw something on Google Images that inspired me, but it wasn't really anything. It was just like this dark room, okay, and I just wanted to experiment with drawing just lots of random shapes in there. So all of the technological jigs in there is just triangles and, you know, lopsided rectangles or whatever. So I don't even know what it is. It's part of it's like debris and rubble, and the rest is these weird looking technologically advanced cables that are just randomly hanging from the ceiling. Yeah, I don't know what it is.
It works for me. Baba Wheelie, damn, I thought Connor was from UFC. And a $3 super chat. Let's thank him for the super chat. And Dan from Dan's Comic Corner, another Canadian, has joined us. That's fantastic.
Cool.
So we got a few Americans, and a couple of Canadians, and one Australian, where it's turning into an international show already.
Very cool.
All right, sir. So we had what I usually call a fun and awkward conversation about bringing something special tonight. So let's check. Oh wait, no, I didn't ask you enough questions. What am I doing? I'm totally discombobulated. So actually, you answered my second question without realizing it. And are there any artists that inspired or shaped your art style from when you got into comics?
Well, as I mentioned briefly earlier, Jim Lee would be the big one. I think he's been an inspiration to the majority of artists out there right now in the comic industry. I mean, I've seen a lot of artists from different Comic Cons to online Instagram accounts where I recognize the style or the pose or whatever it is they're drawing, it came from Jim Lee. I can recognize it because I've studied his work often enough. And again, he is the one who got me back into drawing at a serious level. So he's definitely the artist who's inspired me. Other artists who have also inspired me based on the detail of their work, how they make their characters look so good, are Jason Fabik, Jorge Jimenez, as I mentioned. Jorge Jimenez has a really good use of movement and facial expression, which is, I don't know, I'm just not good at that. So I like reading his work and kind of experimenting with what I see him do. Who else is? Kelly Jones has been a big inspiration. He does, I don't know if you're familiar with Kelly Jones' work, but he has this really exaggerated style where Batman has these gigantic ears that just go way back, and he's got these sort of, I don't know, even when he draws monstrous characters, the muscles that you have on the side of your body, around the rib area, there's only so many of them, but he'll draw 20 of them and it'll look so cool. It's just obviously exaggerated, totally unrealistic, but it looks cool. It's kind of he has a specific style that works well for Batman, the way that Tim Burton's style works for Batman in movies. So Kelly Jones is another one. Scott McDaniel
on Storm, and Seabizlaw asked if that's your boo. It most certainly is his boo. And I love that you really put the work in for the hair on your women, and Storm is definitely one of the most deserving of that.
That one wasn't really, the hair on her wasn't really hard to do. I mean, if it was, because it's white, I don't have to draw a lot in there,
Right, but still, you gave it volume. Not everyone gives her hair volume.
I just like to do something, certain things I just want to exaggerate. So anything that drapes, like hair or a cape or stuff like that, I like to exaggerate it. So a cape becomes a longer than floor length cape. Her hair just becomes way too long. I guess it looks nice in the picture. It's just totally unrealistic.
It does. Looks amazing.
Thank you. Yeah, that's one of my more recent ones. And I think I sold the original recently, within the last couple of months, at one of the conventions I went to. I can't remember which one.
And this Gambit too.
Gambit was half of a full picture, which included Rogue and Gambit. So the video you're watching right now of me drawing Gambit, to the left of him sits another piece of paper that's connected with Rogue already on it. And I think at this stage she's just in pencil, and I'm inking him first before I move over to her, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. So this is just you doing pencil and micron, and then there's Rogue.
Yep.
Again, no slouching on the hair. I appreciate it.
I used to hate drawing hair because it was so difficult for me. But I got used to it, I suppose. Yeah, this is all pencil and ink, and then typically I scan the black and white that you see here, and then I'll have it digitally colored.
That leads into my next question. Do you prefer working traditionally, digitally, or a mix of both? Sounds like a mix of both.
I prefer traditionally. So I started to do digital because when I quit my job to start doing this full time back in 2020, I got a lot of requests for realistic, super realistic portraits of real people as their favorite superheroes, mostly for weddings and anniversaries and birthdays. So I needed a way to kind of streamline the process, and digital was just perfect for that. It just made things faster, so I could complete orders in a timely manner. But after doing that for a few years, I tried paper again, and there's just something different about the feel of pencil on paper, and then your inks as well. It's more fun for some reason. I don't know why.
Well,
Digital.
I feel like
go ahead.
when we're watching you in these videos, right? I feel like the piece is coming alive every time your pen hits the page. And I mean that's just for me watching. And this is something that I don't feel like. I feel like it's a very point and click when it's digital versus like the work that we could see is happening here from your own hands.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't really know how to add to that.
Yeah, no, I love that. I really do.
Yeah, it's different when it's traditional. You have the actual physical tools in your hand. Digital has so many cool things to play with, but it's just not the same. I don't really know how to describe it. Like, if there's any other artist watching this right now, they'll know exactly what I'm talking about. I work with other artists in the studio here who also do both. I think the guy next to me does only digital. He's not here right now. I'm pointing to no one, but he does only digital, and then the other two across from me, they do both digital and traditional, and we all prefer traditional. It's just more fulfilling.
So that actually answers that question really well. I'm trying to decide which question. I have two questions to follow up. I'm trying to decide which one's better. I'm going to go with, how do you balance storytelling with the visual side for yourself?
How do I balance storytelling with the visuals? So I don't even let's go back to this cover here. There wasn't really a story that I was trying to tell. It was just visuals. And usually what I'm working with is just visuals. Because I'm an artist for hire. I don't actually write anything. So the comic books that I'm working on right now are other people's stories. I'm just drawing the artwork for them.
Right. So how are you interpreting them? Like, are you trying to do a direct interpretation? Do you get a generalization and you build from that and find inspiration for it?
Well, so for the comic books, what happens is they actually have a full script completed, and they send it to me, and in the script it's broken down panel by panel, page by page. And so I take that, and obviously that is never going to be exactly what's on the script, because a lot of these writers, they're not artists themselves. Some of them are, but these guys are not, and they don't always know what you can fit into one panel, because really, if you have an action sequence, you can only really have one, maybe two actions in a panel, because it's not a movie, it's just a still image. So I've received scripts in the past where a big opening scene on a page will have 6 different actions, and I'm like, okay, pause, we need to break this down to 2 or 3 panels, because there's too many things going on. There's different angles that I have to show to convey what's going on, and I sometimes just have to edit the whole thing and send my edits back to them. And these guys have been very understanding, and they trust my judgment, and it seemed to work out. So does that make sense?
No, of course it makes sense. And I don't think I've ever written out anything myself where I don't know. It's really weird. I still haven't published my story, but I had a few people give me input for edits, and I had to add an intro story, and I specifically added the introduction as 9 panel pages, right? Whereas the original, I wrote it as an anthology, right? Or semi-anthology, but they all connect. And so my original intention was just this is what's taking place, and really let the artist bring these visuals to life. But then when I had to have this origin story, I didn't want the origin story to take over the book. I just wanted it to offer guidance for the readers because I was told that was lacking. And so I specifically made it to be 9 panels, you know? Mm-hmm. So I'm like, yeah, so-and-so's arriving on boat to Washington, D.C. So-and-so stops to admire the majesty of the city. So-and-so is greeted by this hot, handsome person who's on fire. Like, you know, like I was just like, I'm like, we're breaking it down, get it all in there.
Well, I'll have to take these scripts sometimes and I'll look at it and be like, okay, this is, you know, this last panel is not a good place to end the scene on. And it actually, like, let's say it goes into a different building and then the next page is all inside that building. We'll move that panel to the next page because after that page flip, we've created a new scene. And, you know, I've had a battle scene on one page where it ends in this, like, big explosion. Like, it's the big thing that happens on the page. That's a perfect place to end that page. You get a little bit of a cliffhanger. You don't know what happens after the explosion. It's a big crescendo. You know, you have all this other stuff leading up to it. You know, so I have to kind of move things around, so to speak, so it makes sense on the page. You have to make sure you know what each panel is about. There should be ideally a singular focus, whether it's on a character or an action that's happening. It's all about where you want the reader's eyes to go. All right. And there's a certain flow to the page as well. So from panel to panel, you want to kind of lead the eyes in a certain direction, even with the letters, with, you know, the speech bubbles and everything. You want to leave room for them. Where they're going to read next is where you're going to want them to look next. It might be beside a different person's facial expression. So you read the words and you see the expression at the same time. So it creates a feeling. You know, you have to balance it well with the heavy black shadows and the inks to lighter stuff. So it's not like, there's a whole science to it, you know? And you want the eyes of the reader to move kind of basically like a book. It is a comic book, right? So we're using the same principle as a novel. So you're moving from top to bottom, left to right. That's how we read. So everything has to be kind of organized in a certain way. And you don't want the page to be crowded either. So I've received scripts before where overall the script may actually be very, very good, but the action scenes, sword fights, or, you know, motorcycle races or something, they're all crammed into half a page, and I'm like, it's the reader sees all of that at the same time and then it's over, you know? So it's kind of like, it's almost like in Batman v Superman where we have like 2 hours of build up for a 10-minute fight scene, you know? And a 10-minute fight scene is a pretty long fight scene, but it's just like all that build up for like a tiny thing. So your fight scenes, they need to be spread out over a few different pages. You know, you want the pacing to be proper, you know, you want the focus to be on those fight scenes because that's where the action is. So don't make it end right after it begins, you know? So there's all these issues that I've learned to resolve as the script comes to me. And as long as I explain this properly to the writers, they're with me, and it all ends up looking good. Not to brag, but you know, a lot of the positive changes that have happened to the scripts and the comics that I've worked with are because of the people I work with here in the studio. I mean, I've gotten feedback from artists and creators who worked for DC and Marvel, and they have made edits to my drawings on the pages in a very positive way. So like right over there, and I can't really turn my laptop so you can see, but the desk of the guy who he draws for Marvel right now. It's either Avengers or X-Men or something. I should probably know that, but he's offered feedback to these writers' story, and it's their first book. So some incredible things have happened for these scripts that I'm talking about for these guys, which never really happens. But I digress.
I mean, look, things happen. Yes. Bravo. I hope you're enjoying your European adventure, man. I hope you are. So glad to see him here. All right, so following up on storytelling, where do you find your inspiration when you have a creative block?
There's a question. Where do I find my inspiration when I have a creative block? Well, the first thing that comes to mind is when I'm drawing a character for these comics, they're superhero related, but they're not always Batman. And I love to draw Batman. He's my favorite thing to draw ever. So when I'm drawing a page, I'm drawing a character, and I'm just bored with it. And when I get bored, I draw very slowly. So it's harder for me to get things done in a timely manner. So what I'll do is I will literally, the character I'm drawing, whatever pose it may be, I will draw the character as Batman. I'll add the mask, I'll add the cape, the muscles, whatever. And this is all in the sketch phase. And then that'll help me get the thing completed. And then I just switch the clothes at the end and draw it as the character, in the script. So that's not exactly a creative block, but that's one of the roadblocks that I kind of run into from time to time. I can't really think of any other creative blocks that I've experienced.
I love the suggestion here. When in doubt, raid old Ingmar Bergman films for inspirational concepts.
I don't even know what that is. Ingmar Bergman films.
OMG. Okay, so real quick. His filmography includes 1944's Torment, 1946 It Rains on Our Love, 1947 Shipbound to India, 1948 Music in Darkness, 1949 Thirst, 1952 Secrets of Women. Oh my God, there's so many good films he has. I mean, there's The Seventh Seal, The Virgin Spring, The Devil's Eye, 1966 Persona, 1964 All These Women. Anyhow, needless to say, the man has a prolific.
I will take your word for it. I've just never heard of these films before.
Oh my God, oh my goodness.
I'm not a film buff. I don't really watch a lot.
You can become a film buff with Ingmar Bergman, because his style is uniquely his. When you talk about cinematography, like this man, art direction, cinematography, amazing. I'm
just looking him up right now.
Yeah. Like Sweden's gift to the culture is partially embodied in this man.
Man, I don't even have the time to become a film buff.
And you know what? You don't even have to play clips of his movies on YouTube for inspiration, and there you go.
Yeah, I mean, there is something to be said for making the book cinematic. I mean, there is a certain strategy to interior pages of comics where, every page, similar to films, you need your establishing shot. You don't want your viewer to be confused about where things are. You need to be clear about that. And then, you got your close-ups, but you have to have a close-up only for a reason. If there's a facial expression, then that's a great reason for a close-up. If it's just because you don't want to draw the background, that's a horrible reason for a close-up. So, yeah, there's a lot of cinematic
detail.
Sure. Yeah.
God, there's just so many. The Silence, Seventh Seal is, I feel like that one has to be on your go-to list.
I have, none of these sound familiar to me. Yes.
But Seventh Seal is like one of his like peak films. You know, Life,
Okay,
Death, the Crusades, it's all there.
All right, so he died in 2007.
Look, he goes, I think if I introduce someone to Ingmar Bergman, I did my job. Right on, Omar, right on.
Fair enough.
But yeah, Seventh Seal, man. That's, if you can only pick one, I say pick that one.
Seventh Seal. Okay.
John agrees with you about there's not enough time. I agree with you that there's not enough time, but sometimes, you know.
I don't even have time to watch the movies I want to watch.
Oh, I do. Listen, I subscribe to Nothing Will Stand in My Way. So, like, number one, I'm single. So, check. So, I have no significant other. Be like, oh my God, are you going to watch that without me? So, I don't have to have a fight with somebody when I say, yes, I am. If you wanted that kind of guy, go right back. Go right back. Go right back to the apps.
Yeah. Well, then just, you know, you can still find the guy who doesn't care if you watch something you want to watch by yourself without having to wait for someone.
I dream of that person coming into my life all the time. Oh, but anyhow, that is. But yeah, I'm super happy we talked about Ingmar Bergman for 5 seconds, just so you are introduced to a theatrical cinematography legend of things. All right, so looking ahead, what upcoming projects or collaborations are you really excited about?
Upcoming projects. So that is really just a continuation of the comic books that I've been working on so far. I'm trying to think, do I have anything I can actually show you, and how would we put it on screen? Because you don't have some of this stuff.
Yeah, I mean, if you hold it up, then I could just make you full size.
Well, I was going to say, like, I have finished digital pages, but they're digital, so I don't have anything to hold up.
You can share at the bottom of this window. You'll see the microphone icon, the icon for your camera, and there's an icon to share something to the screen. And so whatever you share to screen, I can present it.
Share to screen. Which one is that? There's a microphone, there's a camera, and the next one.
Plus sign looking thing.
Oh, yeah. Okay. All right. This might take a minute. Actually, before I get to that, the cover is a hard copy. I did the cover on paper, so hold on.
No worries. John, welcome. We are talking about comics, not MMA. Oh, wow.
Okay.
Went for a big piece.
So it was finished digitally. So just note that there is some sort of blank areas that have since been filled in with more detail. But this is the cover minus the title and text and everything. So that is just a collage of all our main characters. You have the villain in the corner there. The main guy is the one holding the sword. And he's basically an immortal guy. He was just a normal human being, and then he accidentally caused the destruction of Pompeii, which, without giving away too many details, basically gave him superpowers, including immortality, so he outlives everyone he knows. He fights through real world wars that we've had through history, and then we, up to today, where he ends up kind of with an advanced version of his old armor. He becomes a vigilante, and by this point, he's moved across the globe to the States. So,
fantastic.
Let me see if I can find one quick digital page here.
And I'm just going to remind everybody, at Conor MacGregor Art is where they can find you on Instagram. Reach out to you. And hey, get in touch for a commission. You never know.
All right.
You remember Pompeii? My old buddy Plinley the Younger told me about it.
I had to research a lot of photos of ancient Pompeii ruins. You know, what an average income house looked like back then, just to get all these details right. And they're not even 100% accurate, but
it's as close as you could get. That's good though. Gotta make those magical moments come to life.
Okay, I found one. I don't know if it's a PDF format. Can I upload that to? Can I share a PDF?
Right. When you share screen, you can share an open PDF. Yeah.
Okay. Download. Okay. Let's see if I can do this right. All right. Slides and PDFs. Okay. From my computer. Upload file. And
I believe. Well, this is a great time.
It says I need to choose a smaller file. The size limit is 50 megabytes.
Okay. In which case, open the PDF file, and then when you hit share screen, you'll hit share screen again, and then you'll choose the window of the PDF file that's open.
Whoa.
And this is a good time to remind everyone that if you're looking for a discount on your comic book supplies to protect and store your stuff, go over to BCW Supplies, use promo code CliffComics and get 10% off. You'll get 10% off your order, and you help support the channel, and we very much appreciate you.
That was a good use of filler there. That was awesome. Thank you for that. All right. Let me try this again. I took a screenshot of it, so hopefully that works. View image and did it work?
It did, and I am presenting. There we go.
So there's no text on this, except for the little bit in the background there. So I don't think my writers will get mad at me for sharing it. And it doesn't really give any details away for the story either. So this is actually the second page of the book. He's coming into this old abandoned church under which he has built a secret lair for himself. So you see him walking down the church. I want, sort of a downward angle over top of him, so his face is always in shadow, sort of to create a very broody vibe. And we have all those cool colors as well, so that it looks, I don't want to say cold and distant, but definitely not a welcoming feeling. Mm-hmm. And yeah, he's supposed to have a bit of a Batman vibe to him,
with a religious questioning spice in there at the same time.
A little bit, yeah.
I like that. I like that a lot.
He's walking through the church, and he gets to the very end, and the candles are actually like a lever in the wall that opens up a little hatch in the floor there. And the stairs appear, and he walks down the stairs, and in the next page, we get to see his big underground lair.
Fantastic.
And this is so I did the black and whites for this. I want to point out that I did not do the colors. So as with the cover that I just showed you, which is black and white here, I don't actually do the digital colors for these. There's a gentleman, Alfred, in Nigeria who does. I have a colorist named Alfred, and I like Batman. Wow. So Alfred does the colors for me in Nigeria, and he sends me the digital file back. And so it's a bit of a collaborative effort on that in that way. And this is the end result.
Wow, that's impressive. By the way, people are bringing up facts in the chat about Pompeii, including the heat was so intense it turned one guy's brain into glass. This is actually a rare known instance of 500 degrees Celsius flash liquefying and cooling brain tissue. So that sounds terrifying. And
yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's the first of its kind. So I don't know if you and the writer want to like play with that, but that's wild and amazing. I like that this dude's bat cave is under a church.
Yeah.
You know?
It's not like a dark, like, you know, scary place that he goes to. It's actually it's like bright white marble, well lit. So it's like the opposite of the vibe on page 2 here. So page 2, it goes down this dark staircase into the ground and then opens the door, and then bam, it's all bright white.
Amazing.
Thank you.
Let's see. Don't let Izzy rub off Cliff. Fake live viewers. Actually, Legend, I have no idea where the views are coming from, so I'm just gonna say thank you and call it a day. And yes, sir, you are real, and I super appreciate you. Yeah, every once in a while, I'll have like some bot farm action, and I've just given up trying to think about why it's happening or where it's coming from. I'm just like, thank you, whoever is doing this, thanks. Or wherever it's happening, thank you. Oh my goodness. Holy 74 viewers for live. Yeah, you know, not a normal thing for me, but probably more normal for you, buddy. All right, so Great Legend is funny. And I don't think Izzy's ever done fake viewers. I do think he ran a promotion for subscribers, which is different. Oh man, I lost my questions. Oh, I know your answer to this. This is my last question directly for you. If you could work on any established property, which would it be and why?
I mean, clearly it would be the Wonder Twins. I mean, what other option is there?
How can you resist?
Yeah. No, definitely be Batman.
Could you imagine?
Has my job right now. I want that job.
Could you imagine if that's like your first Batman gig? It's like you get to do Batman, and you're like, yeah, he teams up with the Wonder Twins. And you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
You'll be looking at dinosaurs and ice formations.
Yeah. I mean, they did. I mean, in the Justice League Unlimited, they did sort of a variation of the Wonder Twins.
Yep.
They threw that in there. It was really cool. I don't know if you saw that, but that's a side tangent. To answer your question, obviously it would be Batman for me. He's my number one passion in the comic book industry. Jorge Jimenez is currently doing that right now, and that guy deserves that job. I mean, I did a little bit of research on this guy. Love him. He's very close in age to me. He has a similar background to me, and he's doing the job that I love. Like, he's definitely done a bunch of things right that I have not done yet. So he definitely deserves to be there. And hopefully one day I will get there.
Yeah. Hey, just remember, Stan Lee, late 30s when he was starting up with the Avengers and stuff. He was 40-something when he created Spider-Man. I remind myself of that every day.
I didn't know that's how old he was with that. I know vague details about the creation of Spider-Man, but I didn't know that's when he made it.
Yeah, he was early 40s when he created Spider-Man. He was late 30s when he created the Fantastic Four. But yeah. So like Stan's everything we grew to love about Stan started in his late 30s and early 40s. So I remind myself constantly, and when my clients tell me that they feel like garbage and that they haven't accomplished anything with their life, I tell them, I'm like, Stan Lee had nothing. He had nothing until his early 40s.
Yeah.
And then they go, and then some of my clients were like, but who's Stan Lee? And I'll be like, I actually think my coworkers, I've been in my office a year now, right? And my colleagues are and coworkers are pushing me to decorate my office. I really think I'm going to dedicate it to Stan Lee.
Okay.
And just like as a motivation, like just have all the stuff to remind people that he was in his late 30s and early 40s when he made all these things that turned him into the millionaire we all grew to know and love.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I don't know, give inspiration to my clients and to me at the same time.
Yeah, that's very cool. I like that.
All right, sir. So we had a lot of talk about your first homework assignment. Questions were asked, answers were given. It's time for the Bussy Busters. So as I've explained, it's a comic that you were really excited to have added to your collection for reasons of your own. And here we are.
So I'm just pulling an image off Google right now.
Oh, I will go first, and it's going to be weird.
Okay.
But, so my Bussy Buster for today is this lovely 9.6 Man of Steel #3 from John Byrne's miniseries Man of Steel, which reintroduced Superman to modern readers in the 1980s. And it's the story of his first meeting with Batman in the post-crisis universe. And of course, what's her name? Mockingbird or Magpie. They take on Magpie here.
I think I know this one.
Yeah, and the whole time, Superman's supervision is telling him that Batman's wearing an aura around him. And he's like, yeah, don't touch me or somebody dies.
Yeah.
And at the end of the issue, you know, when they decide that they could work together, he was like, well, who would die if I had touched you during the evening? He goes, it was rigged to my suit. It would have been me.
Yeah.
And Superman's like, and then takes off. But I love how this built their relationship. Like, they definitely started off as not friends.
Yep.
And Superman's like, you're a vigilante, and I'm bringing you in. He's like, ha, you are not. And then of course he's like, who is this weirdo alien? But I love it. And like just years later, we would get Superman showing up and be like, all right, Bruce, I'm giving you a kryptonite ring because if anybody needs to take me down, it's got to be you. And I was like, oh my God, I love the relationship.
Yeah, no, they definitely did a good job of showing off their different styles in that one. I actually read that not too long ago because I picked up one of those compilation books of the greatest fights between Batman and Superman, and that was one of the ones in there. It was really good. I've never really gotten into the character of Magpie, but they really did a good job of giving her. She's a little bit crazy.
Yeah.
But they also, just like in the animated series, where they do this thing where they take a villain, they make him, you know, sympathetic a little bit. And I love that. Like the Batman villains always have that. Like, they're the best for that, in my opinion. I'm a little biased though. And
no,
so
I hear you, but I gotta tell you, that's my favorite thing about the animated series is how they handled the villains. You know?
Mm-hmm. The best episodes are the ones with the villains that you almost kind of root for them, and you feel bad when, you know, things go wrong inevitably. But yeah, one of my favorite lines in the story you were just talking about was where I think Superman says something like, "I almost feel sorry for her," and Batman says, "I feel more sorry for her victims."
Yeah.
That one stood out to me.
But I also like that it does not imply that Batman does not feel sorry for her.
Mm-hmm.
It specifically, I feel more sorry for her victims. Not that I don't feel sorry for her at some level, but she's already done enough shit that, like, she's done enough damage. And
yeah, she got a little bit murdery.
Yeah. Well, this issue of their early team up and her first appearances in a Batman title were all very concurrent, So really cool stuff.
Yeah, no, that was a good choice. I'm going to try and share something again, see if I can do that.
Absolutely, you do that, and I will. Hold on, I'll remove. Actually, no, you will remove the thing you have.
Do I have to remove something?
Well, no. When you go to share again, it'll kill the screenshot you had.
Oh, okay. All right. So I've added one now, and this would be my choice because I had this as a kid. It's the Mask of the Phantasm comic book adaptation from the animated film, and I used to take this thing with me on the bus to school and read it. It was a really long bus ride, and I just used to read it until I had it with me every day, pretty much. The artwork was amazing, and it was my favorite Batman story ever. And I would love to have it back in my collection because I don't own it anymore. I don't know what happened to it. I might have gotten rid of it. I know years ago, a lot of my remaining comics got water damage, and I had to throw them out. But I don't have it anymore. I would love to have it in my collection again. And this story just, I don't know if it blew my mind or anything, but I think it's the best Batman origin story told because it incorporates a tragic love story where Batman almost stops being Batman and he almost lives a normal life because he found one woman who was worth giving it up all for. So,
and then the tragedy and the reveal.
And then fate just has other plans. Like, no, we're going to rip you two apart and you're going to be Batman anyway. And then they seamlessly fit Joker in there so beautifully. And to top it all off, Kevin Conroy's Batman voice and Mark Hamill's Joker voice, I think they peaked in that film. After that film, both their voices got a little more gravelly. As you get older, your voice changes. That's normal. But
I really feel, for me, the peak of their voice acting was Batman Beyond: Revenge of the Joker.
I knew you were going to say that.
Yeah,
Return of the Joker.
Yeah, because, and I have the director's cuts. I have both, right? And I am just like not near me. Mask of the Phantasm, the single best Batman movie ever made, animated or live action, probably is. And by the way, do you know what I love? I love that episode of Justice League Unlimited with Amanda Waller and Terry McGinnis. And we actually see that homegirl here, who was the Reaper, lived, and Amanda tried to use her again, and she was like, "No, Amanda, like, I am not this person. I am not killing some kid's dad."
Yeah.
I love that. I love that we got to see that she lived, but also got to see that she had a stricter moral boundary, Well,
maybe a little. I mean, she did come up all the way to the point, all the way up to the line before she stopped.
Yeah. No, she came up to the line, but I like the fact that, clearly Amanda had called on her to do dirty work, right? But, even she was like, no, I will do dirty work and I could kill somebody. I can't do this. You're asking me to kill some kid's parents,
Yeah.
Between the director's cut, the initial release of Return of the Joker, having Robin electrocute Joker was more terrifying than being shot in the chest with the gun. I agree with you. I thought electrocuting him was much more wild, and somehow Warner Brothers was like, oh no, this is much better than him shooting him. And
All
then
right, so I've watched, I don't know who it was I watched on YouTube going into this, and he had a really good point, where the electric shock version of his death was more cinematic, because you don't actually see it happen. You hear the shriek after he falls, and that is definitely more cinematic. It's not the version that I prefer, but he is right. And it would have kind of helped the story, because in all those other stories, those episodes in the animated series where the Joker dies, we don't actually see his death, and of course he comes back later. So it just kind of seems like that thing again, so that could have helped the story a little bit more, because then we're thinking, okay, he didn't actually die. It could actually be the real Joker. Now, I liked the original version that wasn't censored, where he actually gets shot, and you see him get shot, so he's dead, and then you're like, okay, well, if he's dead, who is this new Joker? Because now, when I saw that, I was like, that makes it even more mysterious, rather than thinking, oh, he's just coming back like he did before.
No, it was a good mystery, and it was a good use of things we had seen in Batman Beyond.
And his line when he dies, where he says, "That's not funny," it's a perfect death for him, because he doesn't get that punchline that he was looking for.
Yep.
So I do prefer that version.
And I do like, in both versions, we find out that Harley did survive her fall. Yeah. And she obviously had some type of reform after that night.
Possibly, yeah.
Right. Well, because she has the grandkids, and she goes to get them out of jail, and she yells at them, and I love all of that. I love the implication of like she had her fight with Batgirl, and Barbara's telling her, like, this is the most gross, far out thing you've ever done. Why? And I love it. It is one of my favorite Batman the Animated Series, Justice League Animated Series universe stories ever.
It definitely, like, watching it as a kid, I had no problem seeing like the version that was uncensored. I thought it was cool. But yeah, with that movie, they really made the Joker very creepy and dangerous and just horrifying. It was amazing. They just leveled him up. Did you see they never made it into an actual deleted scene, but you can see online, the pencil sketches or I don't know if it's the storyboard or something, but there's a scene that would have been in the film where old Bruce I'm not sure exactly where in the film it would have been, closer to the beginning, I believe, but old Bruce goes to the old dilapidated Arkham Asylum, and just by himself, and Terry is following him from way behind, in secret. And he goes to the room where it's like a surgical theater room, where that final showdown takes place in the flashback. Mm-hmm. So he visits that same room, but it's present day and it's all dilapidated and everything. He goes in, he looks around, and eventually he looks all the way up, and he sees the Joker's body, or at least a mannequin in mostly shadow, just kind of hanging from ropes and chains from the ceiling. And on his shirt, it says, I think it just says, "I know." And then Bruce's eyes go wide and he rushes out of there. Terry comes in later and sees the same thing, and I'm not sure what happens after that, but that would have been a really, really cool, creepy addition that just kind of heightened the movie a little bit. I think that would have been cool to see in the actual finished product.
Yeah, I think it's great. But anyhow, that scene is supposed to take place before right before their next encounter with the Joker, and then that's when the big reveal of like Like, I know all the moves of the original Batman and Robin, ha 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 ha, and all that. So no, it's just it's such a great film. And you know, earlier today, a friend of mine was like, "Hey, are you doing anything for Batman Day?" I'm like, "No, like I'm just not that into Batman." And he's like, "Oh, you hate Batman?" And I was like, "I mean, like I'm like sort of, but not really. Like I'm just not that into him. Like I like really particular stuff, you know." And it's so funny because you're the second person to mention Hush to me today, and I have a lot of resentment about Hush, and I'll tell you why. Andy Lieberman, aka AJ Lieberman, was very friendly with Jeff Loeb, and he attended the same LCS as I did, Stonehenge, and we were both friendly with the owner George. And George asked me a lot of questions about the Riddler and the Joker and Batman's villains. Why would anyone team up with the Riddler, right? And he said to me, he's like, yeah, but how would he get the Joker to do something? I was like, how would he get the Joker to go after Batman? Wouldn't the Joker just do it for shits and giggles? Like, I remember this conversation clear as day. And then the final issue of Hush came out, and the reveal of the Riddler being a partial mastermind to all of this, and that he convinced the Joker to. It didn't take much convincing to get the Joker involved because he just did it just to torment Batman. And then Andy got Gotham Knights starting with issue 50 with a Hush sequel, and I'm like. So this whole thing with Riddler, the reveal of how he got the enemies to work with him, which I had this conversation with you a month and a half ago, mysteriously is the ending to Hush all of a sudden. I was so mad. Mm-hmm. I was like, I'm like, I want a plot credit, damn it. I want a plot credit, you know? And anyhow, whatever. And then of course, when Andy finally got his Gotham Knights title. I think it's Gotham Knights. He got his Gotham Knights title, and he was going to have Batman versus Onomatopoeia. And then DC was like, no, it can't be Onomatopoeia because we don't want to upset Kevin Smith.
I'm sorry, who is that?
Onomatopoeia, the guy who doesn't say anything except the noises of his weapons. So it's like bang, and then like the gunfires, and then.
Is this like one of those old cheesy villains from back in the day? It sounds like it.
He's not. He's a modern villain.
Heard of this guy.
He's a modern villain that Kevin Smith created, who battled Green Arrow first and then Batman.
Wow. Okay.
So when Green Arrow comes back from the dead, his first enemy is on the supernatural side, but his immediate next enemy would be Onomatopoeia, and Onomatopoeia almost kills his son Connor Hawke. So when Green Arrow arrives in the scene of Batman battling Prometheus, he's like, don't tell me what to do. No, not near mint. That's ridiculous. I am talking about the actual Hush series as it came out in comics, where oh look, he wrote up a thing on Onomatopoeia. I'm talking about the Hush comic, and I also hate the Hush animated movie for making it all about the Riddler. I thought that was ridiculous. But in the comic, if you look, Riddler is the one who orchestrates a lot of it for Hush, and he's the one who convinces himself, I wanted to solve the greatest riddle of all, who is the Batman? And I said that. I said, why wouldn't he want to solve the greatest riddle in comics? Who is Batman? And for years, the Riddler knew who Bruce was too, and I really enjoyed that. But yeah, Onomatopoeia, created by Kevin Smith, only speaks in sounds. But he befriended Batman, revealed his true personality, and Batman revealed his. Then, I don't know. I did not read the Widening Gyre because I came out in multiple parts. But you, as a Batman fan, Connor, you should probably find it. Batman told Baphomet he had a bladder spasm when he introduced himself with an explosion to Gotham's socialites when he told them their feast is almost over. I have the first half of this made sense to me, and then the second half went off the deep end. So I guess our homework assignment, for me at least, is to read Widening Gyre. And this is what we get for it being Batman Day. Also, I'm very proud of myself. Earlier today, when we did a little test run, Connor and I explained to him the Kryptonian origins of Nightwing and all about Van Z. And
I had no idea that was a thing.
Yeah, he was horrified. Batman pissed himself in a retcon from Batman Year One.
Yeah, I need more context on them.
The story went off a cliff too. There we go. There's the truth that I love to hear. All right, sir, let's get into another weird, fun thing that I like to call, if I can find my stuff. Okay, my fun, weird game that I love to call Rate It or Hate It. So we're looking at the top 10 from Cover Price in the year 2019. 6 years ago, number 10 was Morbius, the Living Vampire, the Inhucklee 1 in 50. Now, Connor, it is your first time here. For Rate It or Hate It, you decide, will we rate the book or will we hate the book? And if you choose to rate it, you must give it 1 out of 5 stars. 1 being like, I'm sure this is for somebody out there, and 5 being like, I think it's a must-have for everybody. Are you ready?
I know it's a very popular character. I have never read Morbius. I've never seen the movie. I don't know anything about this character other than he's a vampire.
And a Spider-Man villain.
Oh, really?
And a Spider-Man friend. It depends on the day.
Oh, I did not know that. That's actually kind of cool. Why have I never seen those two up against each other?
Oh my god, it's like super famous.
I've never. Wow. All right. I must have missed out on a lot, because if that's super famous, I should have seen Spider-Man versus Morbius before. I don't think I've ever come across that.
Oh man, and it's Amazing Spider-Man number 101 is the first appearance. Let's see. Oh, I was gonna pull up for you.
Oh, I'm just Googling it right now.
And there's the first appearance.
Okay. Oh, is it the one where Spider-Man has the 6 arms?
Oh yeah, and Spider-Man also has the 6 arms when this occurs. Yeah. Yes. And by the way, much later on, years later, in like an issue of Peter Parker's Spectacular Spider-Man, he is defeated by a bolt of lightning at the top of a tower, and it takes away his vampiric mutation. And for 10 straight years, we do not have Morbius in comics. He resurfaces in the 1990s just in time for Midnight Suns. I do love a fun fact. So, back to, do we rate it or do we hate it?
Okay, so I don't hate it. I also don't know anything about it. So I don't know what to do.
Then that would be, I will rate it, but give it like a 1 or a 2.
Well, I mean, you seem to be very much a fan of this character, so you'd probably give it higher than that, wouldn't you?
Oh, if I were doing it, I would rate it, but I also would give it like a 2. You know, because like I like him, he has his own fandom. This is an actual 1 in 50. It's much more affordable to get a copy now. Like that would be my justification.
Okay. Well, I'll just defer to your judgment then, and I'll go 1 higher just to be generous, and I'll do 3 stars, I suppose.
All right, 3 stars it is, 2 for me. Chat, let us know what you think. Moving to the number 9 spot. And if you grew up watching Fox Kids animation, you may have special feelings about this next one. The next one is Spider-Man Unlimited number 1. The Maximum Carnage saga begins.
I have also never read this, but I do love the character Carnage. He's especially to draw Carnage. He's just a really fun one to draw. And your buddy David actually picked up my first Carnage cover too.
Nice.
I have a question actually before we get into the rating or hating. Does Carnage also have the super long tongue that Venom has?
Kind of, sometimes.
Kind of sometimes. Okay, because I wasn't quite sure. And at a certain point, it didn't really matter because I had already drawn Carnage with the tongue, with the side view, which I just love that look. I think it looked really cool. So, but I wasn't sure if I got that right. I just kind of guessed. But,
No, he does do weird. All the symbiotes have weird tongue stuff.
Okay, cool. So I wasn't far off then. For this one, just because I like the character quite a lot, I'm going to say 5 stars, even though I haven't read this particular issue.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, I'm very fond of this. And I mean, it's a highlight of my childhood. I don't feel like it's the greatest must read ever. I'm going with a 3 personally on this.
Okay.
But yeah, it has good memories. Next up, it's the first appearance of the original Thunderbolts in the Incredible Hulk number 448, where they come to turn him in with a Mike Deodato cover. Do we rate it or hate it?
Thunderbolts. Okay, I know nothing about the Thunderbolts. I think there was a movie recently, right?
So in 2019, this book started to peak because people were talking about the Thunderbolts movie. Now, the Thunderbolts movie, of course, is Thunderbolts in name.
It's not based on the person loosely based.
One or two of these characters is in it, kind of. And the important thing about this is during the Heroes Reborn era. And so most of the Avengers are not on the Fantastic Four, are not on the regular Earth, right? They're like reliving their glory days on Counter Earth. And this new team of heroes shows up called the Thunderbolts, and they're here to save the day. And when you get to the end of issue 1 of the Thunderbolts, the reveal is they're actually the Masters of Evil.
Oh, I like this premise.
Yeah, trust me, it was way more successful in print.
I definitely like that premise. Kind of reminds me of the series finale of the original Justice League, the animated series, with the whole hot girl storyline, a little bit. So I do like that. I've never read it, but that type of story does grab me, and I'm really loving the artwork on Hulk on this cover. So I really just for that alone, I'm going to say 5.
I am going to be totally biased here. I love the Deodato cover. I love the Thunderbolts. I was super into them when they came out. So yeah, and of course I still enjoy the premise of the Thunderbolts, and I even like the Thunderbolts movie that came out. I'm going with a 5 as well, but totally out of bias. Totally out of bias. All right, next up, the link didn't work. Give me a second. You know him. You love him, and in 2019, Disney was going to do great things with him, and that, of course, is Moon Knight in Moon Knight number 1. Rate it or hate it?
I never got into Moon Knight. I saw a bit of the show, like clips of it, which looked pretty cool. I don't know much about it. You're picking so many characters that I don't know much about.
Well, one thing you might like about him is he's a lot like Batman, except he does get powers from the moon, and he does have 3 distinct personalities.
Yes, I remember this from the show. I think, not that I saw too much of the show, but I do know that. I think he's got like a tuxedo costume, and he's got like the regular costume that you see here.
Yep.
And am I missing something? Does he have sort of
The
A
show,
mummy
the
costume?
show the show never gave us all three.
Oh, okay.
But it did show us the third personality at the end of the season.
Okay. This is based purely on the show. And I've seen so little of it, but I also love the actor. Not that I can remember his name, but love him. And he's really the only reason that interested me in the show at all. And so because of him, the little I saw of the character I thought was pretty cool. I've never read this particular issue, of course, but I'm gonna say 4.
I am going to go with you and double down on the 4, because although this is not his first appearance, it is his first number 1, and we get a bit of his origin. And I still think it's a great pickup. So yeah, I feel like 4 is great, and I love Oscar Isaac as well. He did
Thank you. That's his name.
Wonderful job. By the way, one of his stories made me cry. Acting stories, because he talked about how much he missed Carrie Fisher, and how she used to, between takes, she would make him dance with her, and they would dance around all these amazing sets while she would sing in his ear. Comic Toby, welcome back. Thank you, sir. All right, next up on our list at number 4, it's Manhunter.
Oh, okay.
From first issue special.
So this is familiar to me only from the Green Lantern episode in the Justice League, I think where these guys were featured.
Right, the Manhunters from outer space. It's even more convoluted when we get to this dude is from Earth.
This is okay. So this is unrelated, or
no, not unrelated. Just Jack Kirby loves to get weird with it.
Okay. Yeah, that is very much Jack Kirby.
There was a whole. I love this because it is Jack Kirby. I love first issue special. I'm trying to get a whole run. It's not that many books. Manhunter's a fascinating character. Obviously, I want to rate this, but it's up to you, sir.
Oh boy. This is probably going to be a very unpopular opinion. I know Jack Kirby is very well known and highly popular, and he's definitely, blazed some trails. I've never really been a fan of his particular style. And the way he draws faces is just, I don't know, it doesn't really grab me. So for the art style, it kind of turns me off a little bit. I don't know anything about the character. Could be good. I think you said it was convoluted a little bit. I'm not sure. I'm just gonna go in the middle and say 3, because I really don't have any information.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that that's very fair. Mark Shaw is a very popular character who we learn is Manhunter, and of course, this is the first issue special, which is actually issue 5, but introduces him. And of course, he received a little bump because the comic book series Leviathan at DC Comics had a special reveal including him. Okay. All right, next up, talking about special reveals, Spider-Verse Part 4, The Amazing Spider-Man, number 12. It's series, I don't know what. This is...
Are those all the heads of different Spider-Man, or the mask?
Yes, from across the multiverse, yes.
And who is this family there? Is that it looks like some sort of aristocratic family, or very well-to-do but also sort of old-timey a little
Well,
bit.
right. Well, they are the inheritors. And the inheritors are the ones who go around killing across the Spider-Verse.
Okay.
They have yet to make a debut in anything on screen. So there was some speculation that they might be part of Sony's Spider-Verse animated saga. And it's
that could be, yeah. That, I mean, if they wanted to, they could fit right in.
I think they would fit right in. I enjoyed this saga.
Hold on. What was that comment that just came up?
It's okay. DC didn't like the way Kirby drew Superman's face and had other artists like Kurt Swan redo his faces. This is true, sir.
Yeah, okay, I agree with that.
And also, if it makes you feel any better, I respect him as a legend. I do enjoy his storytelling. I'm also not super crazy about his artwork. My favorite classic would be John Romita Sr. On the other hand, we wouldn't even have a John Romita Sr. if we didn't have a Kirby in the first place. So I will always give Kirby that.
So, yeah, like I said, he's blazed some trails, so he's earned his spot.
Yeah. Now, the next one. Actually, wait, this is number 4.
We didn't rate this one yet.
We didn't rate it yet. Oh my goodness.
No. So I was gonna ask for more information, but you kind of gave me some. So I like the idea of like kind of the Spider-Verse vibe to it. That intrigues me, and I would definitely read this. I would gamble on a 5 for this one.
I actually like the story a lot, so I'm gonna let my bias run with it. Also, it's Spider-Man proper. Like, I feel like they went too crazy with Spider-Verse, but I feel like this is really well done. I'm giving it a 5 as well.
Cool. Yeah, I like that cover.
All right, so we both gave it a 5. It's number 5 on the list. Number 4 at the list is one of my personal favorites of all time. It's got multiple first appearances in it. It's Giant Size X-Men number 1. We get first Thunderbird, first Nightcrawler, first Colossus, first Storm.
This is the first of those characters ever revealed?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
And this is the 3rd or 4th appearance of Wolverine, depending on who you want to roll with.
Yeah, that kind of looks like his more well-known modern suit.
Wow. I need advice here. GameStop would give me $1,500 trade-in or 10% less in cash if I sell 11 Caitlin Clark graded cards. This offer was made yesterday. Should I sell? What did the star say? I don't know, because I'm not a sports fan. So I would say I love the idea of having $1,500 cash or $1,350 cash based on what you're saying. That's me. But for those of you in the chat who know what any of this means, Still Streethouse, where are you when I need you? I feel like you can answer this.
I would just say don't jump at the first offer without, taking a beat to think about it. But I mean, there's no shame in saying no, because you will likely get another offer later down the road. Not that I want to steer this guy in the wrong way, but I also don't know anything about sports, and that was a sports thing, right?
Oh, that's totally a sports thing. She is a WNBA basketball player.
Okay.
And 11 Caitlin Clark graded cards. Yeah, but her rookie card, I guess.
Yeah, I really shouldn't give any advice on that, but it sounds like a good offer.
Either, but it does seem like I do see the rookie card going around 170 to 229. So 170 times 11 would be 1870. If you took 1350, that would be 520 less than going through the trouble of trying to sell it yourself. So I am thinking it's not the worst idea in the world. But sir, it's your decision. You're a grown man. Not near mint. I can't talk coherently about pops, cards, or toys. I'm comics only, but do look up at what was last sold on eBay and when before making a decision. Always wise, sir. Always wise. But come back to the giant-sized X-Men. It's Storm. It's Nightcrawler. It's Thunderbird. It's Colossus. It's their first appearance and the first time they're together as the new X-Men. What do you say?
I'm going to just give it an automatic 5. I've never been a hardcore X-Men fan. I do like the X-Men. And I would imagine, like, when did this come out? 80s?
No, late 70s.
Late 70s? Okay. So
75. Oh, mid 70s, 1975.
Okay, so first of its kind type of things are always really cool, and I do like these X-Men characters too, particularly Wolverine, Storm, and Nightcrawler, of the ones that are there. Who else am I seeing there? Cyclops, and what's the guy beside Nightcrawler?
Thunderbird.
Thunderbird. Okay, I've
Yes.
no idea who that is.
And he's the first X-Men to die.
Like permanently, or is this just like
permanently.
Comes back to life later?
No, permanently.
Okay.
There is a miniseries called Dead X-Men where he shows up, but only for the purpose of the miniseries that features temporarily resurrected X-Men.
Okay. I'm gonna say 5. This sounds like it would have been a really big deal at the time, and I mean, I have no doubt that people would be crazy about it right now. And of course, it's also the X-Men.
Yep.
With some
you are
pretty
correct.
badass characters, so
It's always a big deal. I don't know why it's not in the top 10 every single week. Yes, Giant Size X-Men is fantastic, and it gets a 5 from me. Number 3 on our list features one of your favorite villains, and it's the first full appearance of Carnage in Amazing Spider-Man 361.
I like this cover. I've also never read this, but I do like this cover a lot. For the artwork alone, for some reason, I'm being a little more critical on this one. But the artwork on this one was better than the previous one where I saw Carnage, in my opinion. Probably just a style preference. Yeah. I was going to be more critical about it, but you know what? 5.
Yeah, I can't argue with this being a 5 because it is Carnage's first full appearance. It was a great 3-part story. It led us to that massive Maximum Carnage crossover. He's still a major player, whether we like it or not, in the Marvel world. And actually, Eddie Brock is currently Carnage.
Yeah.
Go for that huge twist. So yes, 5 all the way. Next up is a very bizarre pick in the number 2 in the number 2 spot. It's Marvel Action featuring Spider-Man number 11. Marvel Action books were published by IDW for Marvel, were less heavily ordered than many Marvel counterparts in 2018, and this led to a lack of ordered copies and led to some ratios for the series being sought after. The recent success for the ratio market for issue number 10 made this popular, and at 2019, and then 11 people started to go after it, with raw copies selling at $52. You can still find copies today raw for around $30. Do we rate it or hate it? Or do you have a fire drill?
Sorry,
Or was someone connected from
the monitoring station and identify yourself immediately as the evidence touch. The monitoring station and identify yourself immediately as the evidence touch.
Hold on a second, I'll be right back, guys.
So let's go look up some IDW Marvel Action Spider-Man. Spider-Man. All right, so here we have some, all very reasonably priced, it looks like. Let's go to my comic shop. Let's see what's going on there. Check out this series. All right, not bad. But I noticed the variants are all missing. Interesting. These are from 2021. Let's go to Marvel Action Spider-Man earlier. All right, here's 2018. All right, so there's the 1 in 100. It was a foil. One in 10 for the retailer. One in 10 on issue 7. Of course, Felicia's there. 1 in 10 for issue 10. And of course, it is a CGC. That's kind of cool. Is that who I think it is? It is John Boy Myers. Very cool.
All right, I'm back. Sorry about that.
That is okay, sir. I'm glad that the building is not burning down. Look at this. Look at this. WTF. Rule number 1, don't die. So just so you know, the chat was concerned with your life.
Oh, okay. So what happened was, I'm not really sure why this happened, but one of the directors of our studio just exited. Okay, I'm the last one here right now. And I don't know how he left the door, but the alarm went off. I think he set it the wrong way, maybe. Anyway, so the alarm went off, and then there's a guy comes on. Whenever the alarm goes off, there's a voice that comes in from some place where they're like, identify yourself, the police are on their way, yada yada yada. So I have to give them this 2-word code to prove that, like, I actually am, I do belong here, I'm working here. So I just had a short conversation with that person, and then suddenly the alarm was disarmed. I think we're okay. But if I have to, I will call the guy who just left. I have his number, so we should be fine.
Very nice. Very nice. So that brings us to this John Boy Myers cover. Do we rate it or hate it?
Right. Okay. So I already love it because of the artwork. This is awesome. I love seeing Venom so huge. Like, that's the proper way to draw Venom. I don't really. I feel like I prefer him as a villain rather than an anti-hero, but it's okay. Characters evolve for a reason. Yeah, the artwork is just so great here. It's a 5, obviously, for me. It's fantastic work.
I love John Boy Myers' art.
The fingers too. He's got those flexed. It looks really cool.
Out of bias, I want to give it a 5, but out of realism, I'm going to give it a 4. Right? Like, I think that this is something lots of people want. I think it's a great little investment piece. I think it's a great coffee table piece. I don't mean coffee table piece. I mean something to talk about. I just can't, a talking point in your collection.
Now, when you say realism, do you mean like literally how realistic the cover looks?
No, my realistic opinion, right? Like, versus like my heart is saying 5, but if I'm going to be real about it, it's more of a 4, right? You got to be like a Spider completionist or a Venom completionist or Venom lover, Spider-Man lover. Like, when I think about spending $100 on this book versus other things I would spend $100 on, right? Yeah. This is a real niche item, conversation piece. That's what I meant to say. And I'm more interested in collector's items that are a conversation piece versus this is a really cool cover that's a conversation piece. I don't know. That's it. It's still 4 for me. I think if I had found a good deal on it, I would snatch it. And that is that for me.
There is one thing that's bothering me, and it's Spider-Man's right foot.
Yes.
I think I get what they're going for.
Yeah.
It's just the actual angle where he landed, I don't think that foot would be that big. Like, in order for it to be that big, it's right up close to the camera, basically, right? And that the hand, if that webbing is shooting in front of the foot, that doesn't make sense.
I do wonder what it looked like in pencils. Because I have found in my experience that when I see the pencils of something for a cover I didn't quite care for, but the pencils look amazing, and then I go, oh, the art and the color totally changed the look of this. So I'm going to give it the benefit of the doubt. Other than that, I mean, I agree with you. It's a small thing from the perception aspect.
Well, technically a huge thing. His right foot is very huge.
See, that's how I know you're an artist. See, as someone who's not that kind of, I'm told I'm an artist often, and I'm like, not in an art way, right? So like, you know, like I'm like, oh, I choose a color scheme when I make thumbnails. But like, I can let that one thing go because I enjoy everything I'm seeing all together. All my artist friends, they see stuff like this, they can't let it go, you know? Now, but then they'll be like, oh my God, this piece is amazing. And I'll be like, no, it's not. The teeth are all wrong. What are you guys looking at? The teeth are so horrible. So everyone's, I am a huge critic. Spider-Man's foot is killing this a little bit for me, but not enough for me not to like it. I still think it's a great talking point. Yeah. Speaking of me loving collectibles, on to number one. Number one is Marvel Chiller's number one, featuring Mordred the Mystic, and this is his first appearance. You may be wondering, who is this guy? Well, in 2019, Disney was announcing yet another series called WandaVision, and everyone thought, oh, mystical characters abound should be showing up. And they thought, why not Mordred the Mystic? He has a lot to do with Wanda's backstory in the Avengers title. And of course, near mint copies and rated copies of this were going through the roof, and then he didn't show up in WandaVision at all. Ha ha, suckers. So, Mordred the Mystic's first appearance, rated or hated?
I kind of do like the artwork a little bit. Like the exaggerated lines of the limbs are kind of cool. I do like that a lot. The sort of smoky character from the back there with the hands, that's always a cool little concept. I don't really care for the character. The artwork is decent. I'm gonna be generous and say 4.
I'm also going to be generous and go with a 4. I like Mordred the Mystic. The script is by Marv Wolfman of New Teen Titans fame, by the way. The cover is a Gil Kane cover. The interior pencils were John Romita, Frank Giacoia, Young Montano, and Ed Hannigan all worked on the interiors. That's talk about a cauldron of artistic amazingness. This is so the original story introduces Mordred the Mystic, and then there's a backup story called It Happened in the Attic, which is a reprint of a short story from Mystic Tales number 7 from 1956 Marvel Comics. How interesting. But I like Mordred the Mystic. He has a really interesting history in Marvel Comics. I'm here for it. I'm happy to give it a 4. And that brings us to the end of And now, sir, for your final homework assignment, I asked you to bring 5 comics with a theme of your choice. It happens to be Batman Day. Let's see how you did for the 5-finger shuffle.
Okay, so I'm actually looking for the comics that I wrote down. I have a list and everything up here. You can't see it, but I've got my whole library of comics, and I just can't even find the one I'm looking for. But in my head, I know what they are, so hopefully that'll do. So it's 5 current comics I'm reading, 5 my favorite comics, or
no, 5 of a theme of your choice. So if it's 5,
okay.
If it's 5 comics that inspired you, to be an artist, 5 comics that you love from Todd McFarlane, 5 comics that told you who Batman was to you. 5
Okay,
comics
so
of Candor and the Nightwing and Flamebird.
So the theme for me then is Batman. Okay, that's what I'm inspired to draw.
Love it.
So when it comes down to it, these are the books. These are the main ones. And one of them is actually a Superman story by Batman. So, but it's all tied together because he's one of my favorite artists. So first of all, Batman Hush. It's probably the biggest one for me. As I mentioned earlier in the episode here, that one issue, it was the one where, I think it was the one with Scarecrow, and they discover Jason Todd's open grave.
Yeah.
Right? That's the first thing I saw in Hush. So I kind of got into it late in the game, but my dad mailed me this comic and I read it and I loved it, and I just got lost in the artwork because there's so much detail. Lost in a good way. The artwork was not too busy and convoluted. It was detailed but easy to see what was what. So I was just blown away by that. So that will forever be, because of that book and because of the artist, one of my biggest inspirations, probably the biggest inspiration. And as I mentioned before, it is the reason, and Jim Lee is the reason why I got back into drawing at a serious level. So yeah, Batman Hush. Death of the Family by Greg Capullo. Or sorry, not by, but drawn by Greg Capullo. I do like his art style for Batman. That one was really, really cool. I think it's one of those stories that kind of levels up the Joker. Whenever they can successfully inject that sort of creep factor to it, it just works for that character. So that whole story, I have to read the whole thing again. Honestly, I've forgotten parts of it, but it was really, really cool. It's one of those standout stories for me. I almost went with Court of Owls, but I like this one better. Superman. So soon after Hush came out, Jim Lee drew Superman for Tomorrow, which part of it was a little bit of a confusing read for me, but I did love the artwork. Once again, Jim Lee's artwork just...
The artwork is gorgeous. The story is trash.
The story was a bit hard to follow for me, but I kind of wrapped my head around it.
You're not wrong. It was trash. Do you know, for like 3 years, people were like, who's Superman's greatest villain? And I would sit there and I would go, the writer, you just said his name.
I was just going to see.
Brian Azzarello. I'll be like, Brian Azzarello's his greatest enemy. Brian Azzarello.
Yeah, I did enjoy the story only because of the artwork. I will happily read a bad story if the artwork is spectacular, and I will enjoy it. Even if I don't understand all of it, the artwork is what draws. I'm an artist. It's the visuals that draw me in. So Superman for Tomorrow was that second run that Jim Lee did that I read. And so that kind of continued it for me. And Batman was involved in part of the story as well. So we got to see sort of a Batman-Superman conversation happening, and all these battles between him and some of the Justice League, which was really cool. I mean, Jim Lee did this amazing underwater scene with like all the aquatic armies of Aquaman versus Superman. It was a double-page spread. It was spectacular. Like, unbelievable detail, just blew me away. So it's not a Batman story, but it's a Jim Lee story for me, and that's what makes it stand out. After that, I would say and this one is more of a special meaning for me because of nostalgia. Similar to the Mask of the Phantasm comic adaptation back in the 90s. This was another 90s one, back when Marvel and DC were doing their crossovers. So they had all those Batman, well, not all those, they had a couple. So they had Batman and Spider-Man comics that came out. they also had like Batman, Punisher, and I don't know, Superman, Captain America, all these mashups. So my favorite one was Batman and Spider-Man, where they fought Ra's al Ghul and the Kingpin.
Ooh.
And so, yeah, two big bads teamed up. It was a really great combo. They travel the world, of course. Whenever there's a story with Ra's al Ghul, Batman ends up traveling across the globe, which is kind of fun.
As one should.
So, and it actually kind of reminds me of that scene in The Flash, the movie, where Batman has to carry the Flash up the cliff or something when he grapples out. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I do.
Okay, so it is not done in that sort of comedic way, but
is this what we're talking about?
So that is the one where they face Joker and Carnage. That's not the one I'm talking about, and I have read that one, and it's not that great.
They're not all a masterpiece, that's for sure.
They're not all winners. I think, yeah, Joker and Carnage kind of butt heads a little bit because they're, they murder for different reasons or something. They can't get along. I think it would have been better if Joker was sort of venomized by Carnage. Like, that's the ultimate thing that could happen there. Well, but they didn't go that way.
The crossovers are happening in 2025 again. You never know.
Yeah, this is the one. That's the one.
J.M. DeMatteis. I was saying his name wrong for years. He never corrected me, and then I saw him on my friend's channel where they said his name properly, and I was just furious that I've met him 5 or 6 times, and he's never corrected me.
Yeah. Anyway, this is the one.
DeMatteis. And I love him as a writer. I love it. And he wrote several episodes, a few episodes of Justice League Unlimited.
Okay. This was a great story. I mean, even like we do get a glimpse into Batman and Peter Parker's private lives where, at this point, Spider-Man is with Mary Jane. I wasn't all caught up on my Spider-Man comics because prior to that, when I was reading Spider-Man, he was in high school. He's accidentally planned 2 dates on the same night. What does he do? All this stuff. And then when I read this, he's in a long-term committed relationship with Mary Jane, and they have their own apartment. So it's traveled quite a ways, and so that was kind of cool to see that for the first time as a kid. And of course, because there's Ra's al Ghul here, we explore Batman's relationship with Talia, if we can even call it that, briefly. And how she kind of flip-flops between the sides of Batman or her father. So we see that as well.
All the time, that evil seductress, temptress. It's funny. I liked when she was not entirely evil, but like as soon as they made her a mother, they also decided to make her entirely evil.
Yeah, the interesting part about her was her I don't want to say duplicitous nature, but that's kind of it.
Yeah, totally it.
It is very much not quite a sort of Catwoman dynamic, where she's sometimes with Batman, sometimes against Batman.
Yeah.
I guess Batman has a thing for that. I don't know.
I mean, of course he does.
But yeah, this one was a good story. I think Wilson Fisk's wife was dying from cancer, and Ra's al Ghul, did he offer a cure or something?
Well, right, because he could put her in the Lazarus pit.
Oh, yeah, the Lazarus pit.
And by the way, in proper Spider-Man continuity, she was dying of cancer and ultimately did die of cancer.
Oh, okay.
So he pulled from recent Batman and Spider-Man stories to make this story happen.
Interesting. Yeah, so that's a little bit of information that kind of enhances the story for me, and I would love to get my hands on that one again, but I haven't seen it in conventions. Not that I have a lot of time to go through all the comics from comic vendors at these conventions, because I'm obviously
Right,
busy.
you got to work. You got to make your money.
Yeah. So, but when I get the chance to, I kind of peruse the books a while before or after the show. It's kind of the only chance I get. But yeah, that if there's one book that I could add to my collection again, I think that would be it. Possibly even more than the Phantasm comic adaptation, because the Phantasm was originally the animated movie, and that's the proper original source, I suppose. But yeah, that was a really good book. And that takes me to number 5, which is not a comic book, but it is a book.
Ooh.
It is The Rise of Sin Tzu.
Oh, that's so cool. And they made a video game based on Sin Tzu.
They made a video game, and then they made the book based on the video game.
Oh, that's it. Yes.
At least I believe that's the order it came in. I'm pretty sure. So for whoever's not familiar, and this was a character that I think Jim Lee created specifically for the game. I don't know if it exists, if Sin Tzu exists, this guy right there, if he exists in canon or whatnot. But he's basically a South Asian warrior philosopher who's conquered different parts of the world and is looking for the ultimate challenge, and he finds that in Batman. He infiltrates Arkham and then recruits Clayface, Scarecrow, and Bane to be his generals, basically. And the book is really cool. I've never actually played the game, but the book was cool because each chapter is... Have you read this?
I remember the game.
Okay, so the book is really cool. Every chapter throughout the story is from the perspective of a different character in the game. And the last chapter is from the perspective of Batman. And so you go through, like, chapter 1 might be Commissioner Gordon, and then Robin, and then Nightwing. Nightwing has some cool chapter.
I bet. Well, it is written by Devin Grayson, and she did go on to actually write Nightwing for a while. So I am not surprised.
Okay. Yeah, this. And Sin Tzu is immortal, apparently too.
Apparently Jim Lee created this character. They made the video game. That character never gained popularity. It's a shame.
It kind of is. I mean, he'd be right up there with
Ra's al Ghul, probably.
Nah, higher than that. The guy I'm thinking of is he's also immortal. Kind of the same concept. Maybe that's why this guy never gained traction. What is his name? He was in the Justice League. He was in Young Justice. He's in Justice League Doom. The main guy in Justice League Doom.
Oh, that's Vandal Savage.
Vandal Savage, yeah, that guy. So kind of a similar concept.
Yeah.
Immortal, conqueror, that kind of thing. Yeah. But yeah.
I do think we will see Vandal Savage in the new DCU movies. Apparently, they did sneak him into the mural that's in the Hall of Justice.
Yeah, not exactly. I mean, those are the 5 books for me. I think
that's great 5. Great 5.
Thank you. Yeah, I don't think there's a lot of other good books here that I have. I almost was going to include Kingdom Come because the story is great, the artwork is phenomenal.
Absolutely phenomenal, and talk about a book.
Yeah.
And technically one of my favorite Superman stories, though clearly not exclusively a Superman story.
Yeah. Alex Ross, like anything he paints is gorgeous. His work is so cool. And how he can do that in every panel, like that's next level. Superman Godfall was another cool one. I didn't really understand at first why Superman was riding a motorcycle because he doesn't really need to do that. But then I realized, okay, this is in Kandor.
Yeah.
And he doesn't have his superpowers there. So, but the artwork was really, really cool.
And that was yet another version of Kandor, just to really mess with everybody. But yeah, that was Michael Turner's art back then.
Yeah, Michael Turner, yes, that guy. And I think he also did Supergirl, like the Batman, Superman, Supergirl arc.
Yeah, those were among the last comics I had him sign for me.
Oh, really? Nice.
Yep. I had the Supergirl saga, and I paid for the VIP Wizard World private signing with him, so I could talk to him. He signed my Supergirl's books, and then the last time I saw him, I was genuinely worried about him. And Wizard released an article about "Don't worry, he's doing great," and I was like, "Why would you write this article about "Don't worry, he's doing great"? I just saw him at Wizard World. He's missing a leg. I don't think he's doing great." I was very upset, and he signed his. His company did an exclusive World War Hulk variant that you could only get at Wizard World, and he signed it. He signed it to my comic shop. I asked him to sign it to the comic shop and name everybody, and he was like, "Okay," and he just did it on the cover, and my LCS still has it in a place of honor. So yeah, I really missed the guy. I had seen him several years in a row at Wizard World, and it was a great time. But yes, wonderful artist. Obviously, his friends keep his memory and his work alive. And currently, you can get foil covers of his work for the facsimiles of Civil War that are out now. All right, sir.
Oh, he did Civil War?
He did the covers. He did variant covers for Civil War.
Oh, okay.
And so all of those now have a foil reprint.
Oh, nice.
All right, Connor, tell people where we can find you.
All right. Well, I am at ConnorMacGregorArt.com. My Instagram is ConnorMacGregorArt. My Facebook is ConnorMacGregorArt. If you can't get the spelling, that's okay. You can also look up CustomComicGuy.com. You'll find me probably a lot faster that way, because if you Google Connor MacGregor Art, you're never going to find me. You're going to find the other guy. But yeah, pretty much everything on my social media, my website is Connor MacGregor Art, or you can look up CustomComicGuy.com, and you'll see all my. There's my Instagram right there. I have reels of my, if you scroll down a little bit. Can you scroll down a little bit?
There we go.
Yeah, so I got reels of my time-lapse videos, and then I've got my still photos. I post still photos of it as well. And then occasionally I have these inspirational quotes that inspire me, and I just share them from time to time. Yeah, and that's kind of how I organize my page as well. I do take commission requests through Instagram. Usually I get most of my requests for stuff on the website or Instagram, so that's where I'm most active. Ask me questions there about anything. I try and respond to everybody, which is usually doable. Just reminded myself I forgot to reply to some guy's messages a week ago.
That's all right. Story of my life, that's for sure.
Yeah. So I'll probably do that soon.
Connor MacGregor Art. Connor MacGregor Artist. Thank you for being here. It was lovely. I hope you had a good time. I know I certainly did.
I did. I love talking about this stuff. This stuff gets me excited. I was hoping one of the 10 that we were talking about, the rated or hated, would be Batman. I don't think any of them were Batman.
No, none of them were Batman. And I really tried to find a fun list, and it turned out to be that. But anyhow, folks, that was Comics and Coffee with Cliff. You have a great night. Thanked our guest. Make sure you follow him. Love to you all. See you real soon. Take care.